What is going on, guys? Today we are filming a quick video about my Mishimoto Radiator, but before we get into that, I just found the seatbelt cover that I'd been missing for a long time. So let's put that back together. Boom. I'm practically a diesel tech at this point. Anyway, guys, moving on to the main point of the upload, which is the Mishimoto Radiator that I have installed on my 2008 F250 with 6.4 diesel. I've got my little pamphlet that they sent to me with the radiator. It's got a, nice riced out 6.4. Not really into that, but whatever. Looks good nonetheless. And let's just go over a couple specs about the radiator that I got. This applies to all aluminum radiators. What they say here: brazed aluminum core with aluminum in tanks, increased fluid capacity for greater cooling efficiency, maintain factory fitment, and no additional mods. Just talk about all the other stuff that they sell also in this little pamphlet. And yeah, so I've had this radiator for, I want to say, probably almost a year now. I've had the radiator, and I installed it myself. It took about 4.5 hours. It's not easy. You got to take literally like every single cooler on this truck, and there are a ton of them. You got a transmission cooler, power steering fluid cooler, fuel coolers, AC condensers. There's a zillion coolers that you got to take off the front end before you can actually get to the radiator. But once you're at the radiator, it's just like any other radiator. Swap and throw in the new one and you're good to go. So let me take you under the hood and I'll show you what the radiator looks like fully installed. Alright guys, going under the hood of the truck here, let's just go through all the coolers before we actually start talking about the Mishimoto Radiator. First you have your intercooler. There's a stock intercooler. Then behind the intercooler you're going to have your power steering fluid cooler. Down here is a transmission cooler. Up here is an AC condenser. Over here is a fuel cooler. And last but definitely not least, we have the Mishimoto Radiator up here. And this thing is thick. I want to say it's like at least 4 inches thick. The other one was maybe 2.5. I believe it's a little bit taller. The tanks are definitely a lot bigger. And it's got nice rubber mounting brackets. It sits on the factory rubber feet down here, which they never talk about in any install videos. You have to be sure that it's sitting on those rubber feet. When I installed it, I didn't have it sitting on the rubber feet, so I had to go back in and jack it up and slide the feet in, but it was all good. Anyway, what else about this radiator? This radiator takes your cooling capacity up by 2.5 gallons, so you need to think about that when you buy more coolant to refill your system. Before I installed the radiator, I would highly recommend putting on a coolant filtration kit, which this is, and flushing the system very well before you install it, because you just want to get all that stuff out before you put in your nice shiny brand new radiator. The coolant filtration kit comes right off of this coolant line that runs across the top of the radiator. You just tee in, it runs down underneath the side of the truck here to just a regular coolant filter made by Wix. They're not that expensive. I think I got this kit from Sinister Diesel for $130. But yeah, you're gonna want to do that. Ford also sells a kit, because this is an early 08 F250. It had the dual port degas bottle. They sell a kit to go from the dual port to the later, I'm not sure if it was a recall or whatever, single port kit. So you block off that, drop the hose down, and then tee into it over here. Anyway guys, I've had the radiator for about a year, and I haven't noticed anything like extreme. I mean, it's not like the truck runs ice cold now or something. I mean, that'd be ridiculous, but it definitely runs a little bit cooler. You can tell the gauge sits a little bit lower. Not much though. And I've never had any problems with the truck overheating. I never had any problems with the truck overheating before I installed the radiator. And the main reason that I installed the radiator was because the first one cracked. They always crack on the in tanks over here. And, ooh, burned myself. They always crack on the in tank over here, and that's due to all the flexing, and with a plastic intake, it's just a shortcut that Ford took. and they did not want to just spend the money and put in an aluminum radiator. These are very expensive radiators. Talking about pricing, when I bought it a year ago, it was about, I want to say, $960 for the radiator, and it was like $160 to get it shipped because it comes in this massive box, which is awesome. But $160 shipped, so say I'm $1,100 into it total. I installed it myself, plus the coolant. I bet you the whole project takes $1,400 to install everything. Coolant filtration kit, block off, and the radiator fluids all included, probably $1,400-$1,500. If you go to a shop and have this done, just the radiator, not the filtration kit, and not the block off, if you get just the radiator done at a shop where I live wanted $2,200 just to install the radiator. It's not that hard. You don't need to know anything technical. It's very straightforward. You just pull out the batteries. This whole upper core support comes out. These things literally just like fall out of the truck. One thing that I did do though, the fuel cooler. Do not unhook your fuel lines because you just don't want air in there and you don't want to mess with that. So I just left that hooked up, laid it on the front of the truck. Air conditioning, obviously I left that hooked up. I don't want to recharge my AC if I don't need to. And it just pretty much is plug and play. One question that I am concerned about is when I go to an aftermarket intercooler and an aftermarket charge pipe, will I be able to fit one in here? Because it says factory fit, but the radiator's bigger, and that's just the simple truth about it. And I don't know if I can fit a big charge pipe through there. I might have to do some trimming on the upper shroud. I don't know. Let me know if any of you guys have experience with that. That's pretty much it with a Mishimoto Radiator. They're really nice, really a nice unit. I have had zero problems with them, and they give a lifetime warranty, which is fantastic. You can always count on that. If this thing were to some reason pop, leak, anything happen, they'll replace it. So I'll put a link to their website down in the description and a link to some install videos. I installed it like a year ago, so I wasn't even making videos at that point, but I kind of wish that I did. So check them out, hit them up if your 6.4 radiator is leaking. Definitely check them out. And thanks for watching. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. See you next video. One last thing before I let you guys go. If you're gonna install a new radiator, be sure and check that your upper radiator hose and lower are the updated double O-ring design with a, you'll see it down there, I don't know if you can, sorry, pardon my fan shroud, it's all cracked, ticks me off. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it down there, it's a yellow end on the hose, and that means it's a double O-ring, which means it seals much better. The Ford had a recall on those, so if those aren't updated, update them when you do the radiator. And yeah, thanks for watching.